it's Samantha from Scrapmaster's Paradise. It's my blogging day for the Pocket Source. So today I'm talking about how to make a project life planner out of the planner printables that I have available in the SP Digi Shop. I have two different planner printables in my Digi Shop. I've got the blank page one, so each one of these represents a 12 by 12, and you can sketch in whatever design page that you're using. And it's got the schedule Monday through Sunday, so you can just write in whatever week it is, what week number it is, and journal each day and plan out your pictures. It's just an easy way to keep track of your project life. And I have another video talking about how I use this planner printable myself. I've used this every week so far, and I intend to keep using it every week. It's got a cool little checklist up here, so you can check off if you've gotten your photos edited, printed, if you completed the layout, or even if you blogged about it if you're a project life blogger like I am. So I've got the blank design, and then I have the design A, because the design A is one that a lot of people use. It prints on one sheet like this, and it's designed for a small planner or small binder, and I'll show you a couple of different options on how to use this. And today we're going to make our own little project life planner book out of this printable. If you want to just use these in a regular old 8.5 by 11 binder like this, you just need to punch 3 rings in it and stick it in the binder, and then you can just have it in your binder like that, and your whole week is on your one page. I designed these to be half sheets because I have an ARC planner from Staples, and it was super cheap, and I just wanted something that fit in this, and it's exactly a half a sheet of paper. So what I do is I cut them in half, and then I punch them with the ARC planner punch, which looks like that, and then they just pop in and out of my planner, and it's just super easy for me to keep track of my project life from week to week. So that's how I've been using it, but there's lots of different ways you can use them. So I showed you can stick them in an 8.5 by 11 binder. They also have these little mini binders, and I was using this as a stamp inventory binder a while ago, but I haven't really kept it up to date. But these sheets are actually the same size as this planner printable. So again, you can cut it in half, 3-hole punch it, and stick it in one of these little mini binders. Another option you have is to punch holes in it and use binder rings. So here's just a little mini book that I made a long time ago using some binder rings. You can get these binder rings at any office supply store, and you can just make it into a book just like this. So you could do the same thing with these printables. You just cut them in half, punch however many holes you want for your binder rings, probably 2 or 3 holes, and there you have a book. Super easy. So the way I'm going to show you how to make your planner book today is I'm going to use my Bind It All, and this is a binding machine. If you're a seasoned scrapbooker, you might already have one of these in your stash or something just like this. There's a couple of different binding tools out there. So I just have the pink Bind It All, and it makes books bound like this. It's got a nice little binder on it like that. So we're going to go ahead and make one. I'm going to use this blank design because I like to use other pages besides just design A, so it's easier for me to just keep all of them blank. And in my part 1 video, I showed you guys how I made this planner cover. This is what I'm going to use as my front page. I'm just going to cut around this. So I printed 26 pages front and back since each page is a week, so I've got 26 pages front and back here. That's 52 weeks. Because the weeks don't always start on a Monday, I went ahead and printed one other one, just one-sided, so that gets me 53 weeks in my binder book. And what I'm going to do with this one is have this one be my front and back page, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that in just a second. I'm also going to be using this piece of chipboard backer board. This just came with a 12 by 12 kit 1 month, and I saved it because I knew I was going to use it for something, and I'm going to use it as my back page. So I'm going to just cut this one down to 5.5 by 8.5, and then I'm going to cut all of these in half, and then we'll get started making our book. Alright, so I got all my layers cut, and I also grabbed a piece of clear plastic. You can get this off a piece of a packaging. This is just an acetate sheet, so whatever clear plastic you have. You could even cut a page protector down and use that. And I'm just going to use this as a film right over my cover so that my cover stays nice and pretty. It won't get scuffed up or anything. That piece of plastic will be in the way to protect it. So there's going to be my cover. I've got my backer piece, and these are those one-sided pieces. And then I have all of my other pieces facing the same way. So they all have this design facing up if you flip through. And I double checked and made sure they were all facing the same way. I want to figure out which side I want my book to be. So if I have it on this side, the two sketch pieces will be facing forward, but then when I open the book, the pages will be backwards. Whereas if I go ahead and flip this over, and I have this as my first page, when I open it, it has a full page opened. So I'm going to have it bound like that. And the reason I have these two extra pages was to finish off my book. So now I have a front page here. This page is blank, and that means nothing will show through on my cover page here. And then when I open it, I can leave this blank, and then I open it, my book keeps going. And now at the end, I'm left with half of a page, so that's where this other half a page comes in. And that's my last page, and there's my back cover. So that's how my book is going to be. I'm gonna get this all straightened up, and here's where you can, 3-hole punch it and add your own binder rings. And now we're going to bind ours into a book with the Bind It All. So I've got the Bind It All here. What it does is it punches the holes for you. So it's got 6 different holes. Just grab a little stack of pages. You can punch quite a few, but I like to take it slow, especially at the beginning. And I'm going to start actually punching some of these pages, because if I mess up the first punch, I can always reprint a couple more of these pages. But I don't want to mess up my plastic piece or my planner cover, because I don't want to take up so much more ink. That cover is a full ink page. So I just grabbed a stack here, and I'm going to punch my holes. I'm just lining it up flush against the bottom and lining it up with those little holes. Those are where the holes are going to be punched. So I've got it lined up there. And I have to do this backwards, because it presses down this way. So there is my first row of holes. I'm going to start turning it this way because it's easier for me to punch. But to do the second row of holes, you can see there's a little notch here where your paper lines up with. You just want to skip one hole and then have your next hole line up with this little divot. So I'll show you. Get my pages back. I'm going to have one hole down, and then that second hole will line up with that square. So it's not the first hole, see? It's not this first one, because then there'll be a gap. So I'm going to line up this second hole with that little square. So now it's lined up. My pages are flush against the bottom, and I can punch it. Now my holes are all lined up, so I'm going to do the same thing one more time. You can even bring that little piece forward so it's easier to line up your holes if it's easier for you. Alright, now to get my second page lined up, I'm going to use this piece as my guide. I am going to have 6 holes poking out, and then I'm going to use this. I'm going to count 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because that'll be my first set of punches. I'm going to have the one hanging down, this one hole sticking out, line up with that 5th hole. And then I can use this black piece to line up with the front of my papers. So that way I know where I'm going to be punching my next set of holes, and that way they will line up here at the top, since I just eyeballed it the first time. I'm lining it up with that marker. I've got all my holes punched through all of my pages, and I'm going to use a 5/8 of an inch O-wire. These are made by the Bind It All people. I just picked a white one since I used white writing. I wanted it to match. So the first thing I'm going to loop onto the wire is the back, and that is because I want the inside piece of the wire to be inside my book. The back has to go first. I'll loop everything onto the wire like this. There are more loops than there are holes, so I'm going to cut this wire right here so that it's not just dangling off. And for this, you can use a really, really strong pair of scissors, or you can use a regular wire cutter, and Bind It All also makes a wire cutter. So I just happened to get mine with the Bind It All bundle that I bought. And you just snap the wire. So this is the wire I'm going to be using, and this one I can save for a tiny mini book. Starting with my cover first, I'm going to start winding all of this on here. It does take a little bit to get all of the stuff wound on here. I might have to do this in different chunks. I'm hoping I can feed it through all at once, but it doesn't look like it since there's so many pages. I'm going to be able to get through all of it. Okay, I think I got through all of it. And to bind this, you use the Bind It All again, and you push your wire together with this little front thing. You can see how it pushes. In order to know how much push you need, this thing is actually adjustable, and it has the measurements for the wires on here. So the writing, like this writing, goes with this line at the bottom. So I've got to line up that 5/8 of an inch with the next line up, which is this one. So I'm lining it up with that, and now it should squish it just to the right size. So I'm going to have my wire in here. I just line it up in there and squish. And it stops when it's perfect like that. Isn't that cool? I don't use this tool very often, but when I do, I just absolutely love getting a nice little bound book. Makes me really happy to have a little book sometimes. Alright, and now I can flip my back cover, and then that inside piece is in the back. So there is my cute little planner book, and it's ready to go. I can start using it now. I could leave it like this so I can flip to whatever page I want, just like a regular old notebook, or I can decorate the spine with ribbon, like something like this. Here's a tiny little mini book I made a while ago, and I just stuck a bunch of ribbon on the binding just to make it look cute and pretty. Or you can just leave it plain like that, like it's just a regular notebook. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope this video gave you a bunch of ideas on how you can use the planner printables and fit it in with your routine. So I will have these planner printables available as 99-cent downloads in the SP DigiShop. Link down below. You guys can check that out. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I put out a lot of new videos every week, and make sure to check out the Pocket Source blog. There's lots of great inspiration over there. And be sure to check out my blog. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!